Hey race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook and get in the game. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, fantastic food and drinks, an amazing Vegas-style atmosphere with seating for nearly 900 of your closest friends. Conveniently located at 711 Central Avenue, right off Exit 5 of I-90 in Albany, the Clubhouse Racebook is the better choice.
The road to the Kentucky Derby ends with the most exciting 2 minutes in racing, but getting there begins long before then. With 34 prep races that span 15 tracks, the best place to watch, wager, and win is Capital OTB and OTB TV. It's the Florida Derby from Gulfstream Park and the Louisiana Derby from the Fairgrounds, the Wood Memorial, and the Arkansas Derby from Oaklawn Park. For in-depth coverage and expert analysis of all the Derby prep races, stay with Capital OTB and OTB TV.
In a recent study of some of the top online wagering sites, Capital OTB won big in total player rewards, far surpassing some of the best-known wagering sites in America. While other rewards programs simply offer you points redeemable for gift cards, Capital OTB's rebates are paid to you in actual cash. Plus, Capital OTB gives you full and immediate access to your money. So if all you're getting now are points and gift cards, join Capital OTB Player Rewards today and get cash back. Visit CapitalOTBBet.com and sign up today.
This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Broadcasting live from the Capital OTB studios, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Racing Across America. I'm Anthony Mormino, sitting in for Seth Merrow, who we're trying to pry off of poolside at Gulfstream Park. He'll be down there for this weekend. In just a moment, he will be joining us. We want to thank the good people at Gulfstream Park for their sponsorship. Champions start here, and not only champions, I think the Rainbow Pick Six is about nearing $1.5 million. Unbelievable. Obviously, a huge weekend coming up. Past performances are available online now. I was a little surprised that as of Thursday morning, they didn't have the morning line odds up. That's not the case for the Louisiana Derby card, which is going to start about 1:30 in the East and end about 8:30 in the East. They have the morning line odds up. But right now, let's turn our attention to South Florida. Seth Merrow, you made it down there safely. Good morning.
Good morning. Live from Palm Meadows.
Oh.
Beautiful morning here out the training facility. We just did an extended little piece with Norm Cassidy that we'll have plugged in either tomorrow or Saturday morning. And, of course, a reminder for folks, we are live from Gulfstream tomorrow. We kick off at 8:30 with the Handicappers Report, 9 o'clock Racing Across America Saturday morning, 8 o'clock for the Handicappers Report, and 8:30 for Racing Across America. But as I say, we just talked to Norm Cassidy, did a little piece with Jimmy Bond. He was out on the front side over at Palm Meadows. We're in the backstretch now, and it's a gorgeous morning in Florida.
Well, at least we have the sunshine upstate today, Seth. Now, we don't quite have the temperatures you're enjoying, but finally the gray clouds and such have parsed away, and beautiful Thursday morning in the Capital District. Now, just one quick thing on the Norm Cassidy side. Has Teppan gotten back to her old self yet?
We asked Norm that, so folks can tune in and get we'll tease it. But I did ask what the Teppan situation is. Also, of course, Classic Empire. Also, a little bit obstreperous at times, and now training up in Ocala, headed for the Arkansas Derby.
Wonderful.
We checked in on that as well, along with obviously the stakes runners they have coming up this weekend here at Gulfstream and over in New Orleans.
I saw that we had a couple guests on yesterday, Seth, and I'm sure you've had a chance to look at the two this weekend. And projecting out the two next weekend, Seth, I was mentioning to our audience yesterday, boy, I have to tell you, I thought each one went about 4 or 5 deep of the big 4 prep races. That's not even bringing into the Arkansas Derby. I'm going to have Jeff Taylor on later on this morning, but you know, Arkansas Trail looks to be a little softer than it's been in years past, but between the Louisiana Derby, the Florida Derby, the San Diego Derby, and the Wood Memorial, boy, I'll tell you, there's like a handful in each race.
Yeah, it's a quirky, obviously, year with the 3-year-olds where nobody has absolutely stepped up, and they've been kind of trading spots. But, of course, down here on Saturday, Gunnevera gets a chance to step forward. McCracken and Classic Empire, we'll see how they come back and perform. I think those 3 stand the chance to kind of step forward a little bit. That says Gervin in the Fairgrounds Louisiana Derby. Yes. So I think there's the potential for a few horses to really step it up, but otherwise it's just been kind of wide open, and it's still completely wide open when you start talking about the West Coast and the Santa Anita Derby.
Now, Seth, as the standard bearer of Gunnevera, I know he has Javier Castellano. I know he's going to want to make a late run, but he draws the extreme outside going 9 furlongs at Gulfstream. Your thoughts?
Well, obviously no bonus there, but it's been done, and if you're a good enough horse, and I think maybe with his running style, it's not going to be as detrimental as it could be, and he's just so good looking, you know, in the Fountain of Youth that I think he's set up to run pretty well this weekend.
And as we said on Sunday, and they're off, that you know you're between a rock and a hard place. You want Gunnevera to improve on his Fountain of Youth going forward, hoping that he has a 3rd move forward going into the Kentucky Derby. That will be the problems, the thoughts for the connections and elsewhere. The card looks tremendous down at Gulfstream Park. This has become the way of racetracks, Seth, over the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years, having these gigantic Saturdays, and Gulfstream Park won't disappoint.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's a big day of racing. Obviously, they're getting to the last weekend in the winter meet. There is the mandatory payout if the Rainbow Six continues through Sunday. So Saturday, you have a big racing day. Sunday, if that mandatory, if that Rainbow Six holds with the mandatory, that's going to be a huge day as well. So we'll be talking about all of that over the next couple of days. Again, for folks tuning in, we'll be live from the set folks are used to right on the paddock at Gulfstream Park. Brian Etto and I will do the handicapper support, and I'll be doing Racing Across America. And again, have some good guests lined up to preview the action coming up over the weekend, closing weekend at the championship meet at Gulfstream Park.
All right, Seth, what are your plans the rest of this morning? You have more work at Palm Meadows. How far is Palm Meadows driving to the racetrack?
It was probably the better part of an hour, 45 minutes maybe. And then with traffic, it took a little bit longer. But, yeah, I'd say maybe 45 minutes, something like that.
So that's a pretty strong haul from Palm Meadows down to Gulfstream Park. And I have a quick question because raising our son, I haven't been in South Florida. Is Palm Meadows as nice as everyone says?
It is. It's very nice. It's a beautiful facility. And we've got trainers talking a little bit about that, too, and kind of complimenting. And both Jimmy Bond and Norm Cassie asked both of them, and they mentioned it's just a great place to train in the wintertime and set your horse up for the rest of the year, moving northward in the springtime. A beautiful turf course, a beautiful main track facility, and it's just, it's being set away from a racetrack. It's just very quiet and, beautiful morning, tranquil. The horses clearly seem to enjoy it, and I think the trainers enjoy getting their horses here to work. So it is a beautiful facility, and clearly both the horses and the trainers like it.
Well, Seth, I wish I had known you were going to see Jimmy Bond. If you see him again, ask him how Maroon 5 was. I saw him and his wife a couple weeks ago. They liked Maroon 5. They were going to the concert down at the Times Union Center. They had come up from Florida. They had some work to do, but they were going to see Maroon 5. I thought my son likes Maroon 5. I'm not even so sure I knew who they were, but they were in town. They were in Florida. They came up. They had some business to do. Then they were going back, and you ran into them. Anything else on your plate this morning?
Nothing other than just to remind people, OTB, best coverage of the Florida Derby weekend. Again, 8:30 will kick off on Friday morning, 8 o'clock on Saturday morning, live from Gulfstream. Looking forward to it, and hopefully we can give some folks some good information to maybe put together some Rainbow Six tickets, if nothing else.
Well, listen, Seth, even if you have the lone winning ticket on the Rainbow Pick 6 today, you still have work Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
That's a joke. That's a joke, Seth.
If I have the long ticket, I may be in the Bahamas.
That's what I'm saying. We're going to lose Seth. Anybody seen Seth? Seth's not here. But good luck today. Unbelievable. That pool, nearly $1.5 million. I can't even extrapolate, Seth, what they would think it could be come Sunday after Saturday's wagering.
The sky is the limit, I think. Oh. It's going to be intriguing. I hope it holds, just so I can see what the number is. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I would think, I don't know, is $5 million ridiculous?
No, I think that's well within the realm of possibility.
$7-8 million? Incredible, incredible. Well, Seth, enjoy your time at Palm Meadows this morning and the racetrack this afternoon. We look forward to seeing you live from Gulfstream Park tomorrow morning on the network.
All right, thanks, and good luck to everybody this afternoon. All
right, ladies and gentlemen. Seth Merrill live from Palm Meadows Downs. He'll be there today, Friday, and Saturday. Then he'll be heading back up north. Hopefully our temperatures will be rising while the sun shines. A couple quick notes before we take our first break is that Kentucky Derby Future Wager Pool is up this weekend. I know the big thought is, for the pools to close after the big races on a given weekend. And I understand that, but the problem is if you like a horse and he runs big, you lose it. Now, the horse that I would be intrigued by, talked about this yesterday, Guess Sweet, just as an example, is 50-1 on the morning line now. I have to tell you, right now, I'd rather make my bet with the windows closing before the Louisiana Derby, which, by the way, I was hoping he'd be 6-1. He's 4-1. We'll get to that with Brian Spencer after the break. But that's one of my basically contrarian thoughts, that if you like a horse who's a big price, I would want his odds before the prep race, because I do think Guess Sweet will run well. And poof, there goes any type of balloon figures, because I've said it many times before. Regardless of who you like, you have to get a square price. Now, it's a little less daunting now, but boy, getting in the starting gate this year, the favorite might be 5-1. I don't know, but the future book wager underway right now. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we turn our attention to New Orleans.
Hey, race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, and amazing Vegas-style atmosphere. The Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
It's official. OTB TV is heading south to Gulfstream Park for this year's Florida Derby. We'll be broadcasting live from the paddock Friday, March 31st and Saturday, April 1st. Brian Addo and I will be handicapping the day's races, and later on we'll have interviews with the top trainers and jockeys. I'll also be welcoming some very special guests to the set. That's Friday, March 31st and Saturday, April 1st, right here on OTB TV.
No matter where in the world you are, the excitement of wagering on horse racing is just a click away. CapitalOTB.com offers live streaming, past performances, race replays, our virtual tote board, analysis and selections from professional handicappers, and a simple, safe, and secure wagering platform. And best of all, you get track prices. Going on now, it's Bet 50, Get 50. Simply open a Capital Bets account, bet $50, and get $50 cash back. CapitalOTB.com. Log on today.
Be sure to join NYRA handicapper and racing analyst Andy Serling at the Clubhouse Racebook in Albany. Andy will be handicapping live the day's races and managing a $1,500 bankroll on behalf of 50 lucky patrons. To be part of Andy's bankroll team, sign up at the Clubhouse Racebook or online at CapitalOTB.com.
The road to the Kentucky Derby ends with the most exciting 2 minutes in racing, but getting there begins long before then. With 34 prep races that span 15 tracks, the best place to watch, wager, and win is Capital OTB and OTB TV. It's the Florida Derby from Gulfstream Park and the Louisiana Derby from the Fairgrounds, the Wood Memorial, and the Arkansas Derby from Oaklawn Park. For in-depth coverage and expert analysis of all the Derby prep races, stay with Capital OTB and OTB TV. With more than 60 Easy Bet and branch locations throughout the region, you're just a short drive from all the top tracks across the country and around the world. For a complete list of all Easy Bet and branch locations, visit CapitalOTB.com. Capital OTB. We're closer than you think.
This is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Racing Across America. Time to turn our attention to one of the great cities in America. And I am a conservative guy by nature, but I got to tell you, New Orleans is a great city. It's a great weekend, great time of year to be down there. I say the Final Four should always be there. In just a moment, we're going to bring in Brian Spencer. One thing I want to say to our audience about handicapping at the fairgrounds, and we know there'll be a spiked interest this time of year. Their racing office and the way they conduct business, getting the past performances, Seth and I were able to look at the PPs on Sundays and their off program leading into the Louisiana Derby, and that is such an edge. I'm not saying it's going to make me a winner, but I'm going to feel better in defeat that I had more than enough time to parse out my thoughts, and I've said it before. It shows you it can be done. We are grateful. Now let's bring in, from the fairgrounds, Brian Spencer. Brian, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm very well. How is the weather in springtime down in New Orleans?
Today it is not particularly nice. There's some thunder outside, but hopefully we're getting it all out of the way. The forecast seems to at least be pretty promising for the big day Saturday, so I suppose better to have a damp, dark day today than a couple days from now. I
think a trade most racetracks would take. And you were being kind. You said a nice day. How about day and night? Before we came on the air, I said to Brian, at 53 now, I'm not so sure half a lifetime ago I could start the racing day, the first race. I mean, let's say 1:30. I got done at 8:15. I know I couldn't do it now, but boy, what a great day of racing. The the Louisiana Derby is the 11th race on the card. Spectacular card, Brian.
Yeah, it's really fun. 15 races start to finish, on closing weekend, as certainly happens at a lot of racetracks. We're kind of stacking those cards, so we got 10, 13, 15, 14 to close out the meet here on Sunday. But Saturday's card, 4 Grade 2, the Louisiana Derby, Fairgrounds Oaks. It's really, obviously what we look forward to all season.
And the stakes schedule at the Fairgrounds is probably as good as it gets in America. And what I mean by that is you have these different series, whether it's the 3-year-old Colts, the 3-year-old fillies, the turf racing, and the handicap, and you piggyback them on, if my math is right, 3 gigantic days spaced out very well. And it looks as if the horsemen are right behind it. I will say this. When the Louisiana Derby stretched out to 1.1 miles and they changed their spot on the calendar, Brian, I was suspicious if it was going to be too crowded. But as we can obviously tell, the Louisiana Derby has found its outstanding place in the prep, the final preps for the Derby.
Yeah, and I think that, we've had a couple of pretty decent fields over the course of the last few years. Obviously, Arkansas and California have been dominating the actual Derby for several years right now. But, we've had some good showings from some of our horses, and we're pretty proud of that. And, our racing office does, you mentioned those 3 big days with the 3 major preps.
Oh.
Racing office does a lot of good work, even with, the smaller turf stakes for the fillies, lining them up to be able to prep them for, say, a bigger race at Keeneland. So lots of different series here, sprinters, turf horses, and obviously weekend like this, the 3-year-old boys and the 3-year-old fillies.
Well, I know it's a division that doesn't get a lot of attention, but I have to tell you, the Fairgrounds, has been so far ahead of the curve about having that sprinter series, which commenced with the Thanksgiving Day handicap for years. You used to take a look at that. Brian, we're going to let our audience see Patch breaking his maiden as we talk about the Louisiana Derby. Patch making the 3rd career start, breaks from the rail. Gervin is the 8-5 favorite in here. Take it away.
Yeah, Gervin probably the one to beat, especially if his connections also run Hotfoot, who they entered last minute last Saturday, but then they also ran him last Saturday, and he got beat 24 lengths, but I think that he could be a bit of a rabbit there. Gervin, though, lightly raced, still a lot of, I think, room to improve. He's just been one of those really impressive horses. You mentioned Patch. He's sort of the wild card for me as that last race really kind of stands out compared to some of these other ones who are trying to take this jump into graded stakes company right now, and I think that he might get a decent kind of run. But with all that said, even with my little bit of a worry about the potential pace scenario with a couple potential pace elements, I thought that Local Hero was very interesting. He won so easily in his maiden race 2 starts back that I don't know if he got a ton out of it, and then last time out in the grade 2 opened up that big lead, stayed on okay for third, and I think that maybe that race could have done a little bit more for him. I think we might even see something better from Local Hero, and I've thought he was a talent since that January maiden breaker.
And is Local Hero the main reason for a Hotfoot being entered, who appears to be a rabbit for Joe Sharp, who drew the outside? Was Local Hero the main reason for that?
I couldn't speak for Joe Sharp,
no.
but it certainly appears that way to me on paper. It looks like maybe Local Hero was the one that they were worried about shaking loose.
Now, I'll say this, and I was telling our audience about the final weekend for the Kentucky Derby Future Pool, and a horse that's in your Louisiana Derby who is 50-1 on the morning line and 4-1. I was hoping to get 6. Boy, I have to tell you, I'm a sucker for horses coming up to races like Guess Sweet.
And Guess Sweet, he was a little bit disappointing to me last time. I thought he got a decent enough setup, but all that being said, I think kind of the flip side of my sort of like of Local Hero in this spot is if all the pace does show, Guess Sweet is going to be in line to get a pretty good trip. And you look at his races, he's never taken a step back. So he's kind of that classic Neil Howard developing 3-year-old. The question, though, is if you're looking at that Derby future wager, how big do you want him to run here on Saturday? Because if he wins this race, that price goes way down.
Well, Brian, I'll tell you the contrarian opinion that I've put forth for years is that people want these windows to close after the big, typically Saturday stakes races. I'm like, forget that. I want them closing 5 o'clock on Friday, because if Guess Sweet runs poorly, well, I'd rather take a chance at 50-1 when he runs well after the fact than taking, like you said, I don't know, 20-1 if he runs well here. One quick thing about Guess Sweet, and I've been around Neil Howard's work for a very long time. Summer School was a generation ago. The thing that intrigues me about Guess Sweet is, boy, I'll tell you, working out bullets in the morning for Neil Howard, for a horse who's an off-the-pace type of runner, boy, surprises me very much in a good way.
Yeah, and it's not just kind of like you mentioned, it's not just a one-off bullet, an accidental bullet. He's got 4 of them on the bottom of his page in his last 5 works, so very atypical for Neil Howard.
And I'll tell you what, just from a handicapping thing for me, Brian, I'm a big pace guy, and I often, when horses start their career or they start their new season, I liked his effort in the Lecomte, the victory, and I kind of expect a regression, but the Beyer speed figures indicate he didn't regress. He actually moved forward. Now, he ran 3rd, but the numbers people would say that he improved off of his 3-year-old debut. So I'm interested. Is Gervin all the buzz? He's 8-5 on the morning line. Is this the type of horse that's going to be even money or less?
I think a lot of it depends on how much money the 2 Todd Pletcher horses take.
Okay.
I think that Gervin likely to be in that 6-5 to 7-5 range, because not only is he lightly raced and he was so impressive in the Risen Star, but he is, according to his connections, Joe Sharp and Rosie Napravnik, who works him, Gervin has done absolutely nothing wrong and potentially might even be better than he was last month.
Wow. All right, let's turn our attention to the big Philly race annually down at the fairgrounds. Our audience is going to see Farrell's victory in the Rachel Alexandra as we take a look at the Fairgrounds Oaks.
And I'm the type of player who, as much as I want to go against a horse like Farrell at what's going to be a very short price, even with the presence of the new shooter, the speedy Darius Angel, who could complicate things a little bit for Farrell, you only have to go 2 starts back to see that she can settle just off the pace. So if Darius Angel wants to make a break for it and they just hope she's good enough to take him gate to wire, Farrell's going to be close in tow. And even at a short price, I'm just not interested in trying to beat her in this kind of group, especially with the fact that Summer Luck is going to be coming out of this race. Summer Luck seems like one of the major potential options if you wanted to play against the favorite.
So that's good news. So Summer Luck is opting for the Gulfstream Park Oaks, and she will scratch out of here. So be feeling this. I have to tell you, Brian, I love a horse in this race that you didn't mention, and that's the 5, Vexation. I mean, I have to tell you, I am jumping out of my skin to bet her tomorrow for one of my favorite trainers of all time, Neil Drysdale. And I do think there will be people that miss that her allowance race was against the boys.
That's exactly it. I got her picked second in this one behind Farrell.
Don't tell too many people.
I'll try to keep it quiet. Yeah, and it's worth noting, too, the horse that ran second to Farrell last time out, Majestic Quality, Vexatious, is the one that beat her when she broke her maiden back in November. Comes off that good third behind a couple of Santa Anita Derby prospects. Nothing wrong with that.
Well, and I will tell you, the people that looked at me, a couple people we know simultaneously, how much I loved Champagne Room in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly last year, I would say to find this race on race replays, and I got to tell you, Vexation against the boys was tremendous with the storm. We had no place to run for about 6.5 furlongs. I thought, this is one of the examples, Brian, I will be shocked in Neil Drysdale's hands if she doesn't run big. I don't know if it's big enough, and I'm hoping to get a little bit better than 6-1, but I think the Fairground Oaks, maybe because I like a horse, is a little bit more wide open than with Farrell. Now we're going to go to the brilliant turf race up here. We're going to show Oscar nominated now as he preps for one of the finest middle distance turf races of the year annually.
Yeah, there's a couple of main players in here Oscar nominated. One of them, as he's just been knocking on the door, Kasaki, obviously the one to beat with a lot of class over the course of the last couple of years. But one of the horses who's coming in here, trying Stakes Company for the first time on the outside, tough draw with the number 11 Special Ops. But he is the kind of horse I absolutely love stepping into a spot like this. He was claimed for $25,000 back in September. Was kind of having a little bit of trouble over the course of the later part of the fall, but his last 2 races have both been just visually sensational. So obviously he likes this Fairgrounds turf course. I have no clue if he's good enough, but the outside draw, a little bit of a concern for me, but he's kind of a late runner. I think that Brian Hernandez Jr. going to have a chance to get him over to save a little bit of ground into the turn. And, this is one of those horses where he's very impressive. If he is this good, this is going to be your chance to get a price on him.
Well, I'll tell you what, Brian, I am still waiting for somebody to be as impressive as Joya Danseur was a generation ago in this race, but it is terrific. Special Ops, 15-1 on the morning line out of the consecutive allowance, and we know in New York, in the brilliant hands of Brad Cox. Brian, I want to thank you very much. Hopefully today's weather is no indictment of tomorrow's. Have a great afternoon, and maybe get a midday nap sometime tomorrow.
I'll do my best. Thanks a lot, Anthony.
You're welcome. Brian Spencer, ladies and gentlemen, from the Fairgrounds Paddock Analyst, as I mentioned. Our time, 1:30 kicks off. Our time, about 8:15. The 15th race wrapping up. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, our return to Gulfstream Park. This time, Ron Nicoletti.
This is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
Coming right back, the American, the European, and it is theatrical in front. Trempolino driving hard, full out and determined to get him. And here is the wire, and theatrical has won it. Absolutely spectacular.
Not at the track and not near a computer? No problem. Wager with Capital OTB's Touch-Tone Wagering System and you'll never get shut out again. Capital OTB's Touch-Tone Wagering System is quick, simple to use, and guarantees your wagers are accurate and placed on time. For more information, visit CapitalOTB.com or call Capital OTB's customer service hotline at 800-292-BETS. Capital OTB's Touch-Tone Wagering System. Never get shut out again.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Now get all the racing information you need right on your mobile device with Capital OTB's new mobile app. Wager anytime, anywhere, right from your smartphone or tablet. Watch, wager, and win right at your fingertips. The new Capital OTB mobile app.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Racing Across America. We're now joined by a voice very familiar on the network, Ron Nicoletti. Ron, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you today?
We're good. Finally, upstate New York, the sun is shining. It has been so great and gloomy, and then what happens? I turn on the television. I run in a beautiful Gulfstream Park paddock set. The weather's been great, and now you've drawn the card, and on Saturday afternoon, one of the great days in American racing, and you'll be a major part of it down at Gulfstream Park with the Florida Derby. What I want to talk about up first, though, if my math is right, you're near about $1.5 million in the Rainbow Six pool.
Yeah, we're at 1.445, so it'll just skyrocket from there this afternoon. And, you know, if it doesn't get hit on Thursday and Friday, we'll have a $2 million guarantee on Saturday for that. So I don't know if it'll be near that or over that, but hoping it doesn't get hit and last till closing day, because that'll be next Sunday. There'll be $10 million in it, and you can get it for 20 cents, which makes it great.
Now, you said next Sunday. Is that the day after the Florida Derby? Oh, my.
Yeah, I mean, this Sunday, day after the Florida Derby.
Okay.
I'm so far ahead, I don't know what I'm talking about.
I understand, especially when you got a plate like the Gulfstream Park goings on. And Seth and I, we talk about the Rainbow Six often, and it's one of the great, it's captured so much attention in America. And, you know, you get to the point, as you said, you're almost hoping it doesn't get hit. You get to Sunday, and who knows how much they would put in the pool on Sunday after Saturday.
Yeah, you know, last time we had a similar situation, it got hit the day before, but they were expecting, like I said, $10 million in the pool. So we'll see. And you know, we got to get through today and Friday, and you know, then of course Saturday, and we'll see if we can last till Sunday. But whoever hits it, if someone hits it before, boy, they're going to get a lot of money. So it makes, besides the great card we have on Florida Derby Day, it makes it all the more interesting.
And Ron, you and I are from the same generation growing up. We never saw pools or possibilities and payouts anywhere like this. I can remember as a kid, a $200 daily double was the high water mark.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's just the nature of the beast now with all these great carryovers. You know, we have the super high 5-2, and you know, as soon as it gets to a certain level, all of a sudden it goes up and has over $150,000 in the pool. So you know, money coming in on computers from all over the world. So it makes for huge pools and huge payouts if you're lucky.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a new era now. Talking about old era, one of the best, finest 3-year-old prep races annually. The Grade 1 9-furlong Florida Derby, 14th race on Saturday afternoon. Ron, some of your thoughts?
Well, you know, of course, Gunavera on the outside is the one to beat in there, but I was going a little differently in there with Impressive Edge. You know, it was a $400,000 son of Harlan's Holiday. Just taking a chance. I mean, you got to have Gunavera on the ticket. But, you know, breaking from that outside post, it's a short run to the first turn, so got to get position, can't be too far back, you know. So, you know, then you got right to its inside 3 rules, work breaking who's the speed of the speed. So I just think it's going to be a jockey's race, you know, getting that early position. And there's a couple of really nice horses in there, Always Dreaming from Todd Pletcher, the only one that's won at 9 furlongs. So lots of different angles to go in there. I'm going with a little bit of a shot with Impressive Edge from you know, I just think this horse can run well in there. You know, was in the swell, had a little bit of trouble in there, so maybe I'll get a price. I'm certainly using all of those horses on my Rainbow Six ticket.
Our audience just saw Gunavera's very impressive victory in the Fountain of Youth. And Ron, in the modern era, you know, here's one of the, I think, true legitimate questions. I thought Gunavera was very good in the Holy Bull, better in the Fountain of Youth. You draw the outside. If you like Gunavera, boy, and you get the move forward. How many move forwards does he have getting into the Kentucky Derby?
Yeah, you know, that's a good angle there. You know, so you just have to see. You know, I just think that he's got to get that perfect position, you know, and to run well in there. And, you know, if you let the speed, you know, the one horse on the inside's got to go. If you let that speed get too far away, it can cost you. But, you know, with a great jockey like Javier Castellano in the saddle, I have a lot of confidence that, you know, he's going to be right there at the wire.
Well, I got to tell you, Always Dreaming for me scares the bejesus out of me. And I'm just going to tell you, as a pace guy, Ron, I know he's in Pletcher Velasquez. He's not going to surprise anybody. But, Ron, I have to tell you how much I love big effort, slight regression, and then the move forward. And that's where Always Dreaming, who we saw crush at Saratoga in a runner-up position, was laid off from August to January, ran brilliantly to break the maiden. And at 1 to 10, he came back and he won. But, to me, that race, Ron, as I was watching it unfold, it wasn't clear that Always Dreaming looked like a 1 to 10 shot until about the 8th pole.
Yeah, and they went really slow early in that race. I think the first half was 51-3.
Correct.
And, so a slow pace in there, and we just sat off that slow pace. So I don't know if the race just set up perfectly for him that day, but certainly, as I mentioned, I would not leave him off your ticket.
Yeah, I think, to me, as a pace guy, Ron, when they went slow, Johnny V just allowed the race to come to him, so it would be impossible to run a big Beyer speed figure, because it looks terrible compared to his maiden victory. Now the 3-year-old fillies on tap in the Gulfstream Park Oaks. Yeah, the Oaks. That's a pretty wide open race in there, and I didn't know really positively where to go, and I ended up going with the 2-horse in there. Tequita, who's stretching out, got that posted that second consecutive stakes victory when she won the 7 furlong Grade 2 forward gal. Michael Matz, Luis Saez, Summer Luck, but I sort of like number 7, Nona Bella, in there, is making her stakes debut. She got those 2 victories at 7 and 6.5. You mentioned the connections, Todd Pletcher, John Valax. This horse might be the sneaking in the race. I don't think you're going to get a great price, but I just think that one stepping up into Stakes Company might be the right one. Well, our audience just saw the forward gal in there. I'll say one thing about Nona Bella, Ron. I like horses who are successful in races that I think might not be their best gig. And what I mean by that is Nona Bella has been sprinting. She has Bernardini and Empire Maker as her grandsires and finally gets to root. Yeah, and that's the way it was going. I just kept going back to the horse every time I tried to handicap the race. The other ones that we mentioned were more seasoned, but I think that horse is going to run really well in there. Now, Ron, our friend Seth was teasing that he talked with Norm Cassidy, and he wouldn't give me any of this stuff because they're going to run it tomorrow morning on the network. But do you have any thoughts on Salty, number 6, right next door in the starting gate of Nona Bella? Yeah, I mean, another horse that you sort of have to take a look at in that race, and Rembrandt almost picked that horse third and just backed off, and I actually I'm going to have it 4th on my ticket in there. And Salty's, got to step up too. Comes off that really nice maiden victory, draws off to win it at 60 cents to the dollar. And you look who beat her 2 starts back, only by a neck. It's Nona Bella. So I'm thinking if you agree that Nona Bella is going to handle the stretch out, maybe Salty does too. All right, very interesting, Gulfstream Park Oaks. Ron, so we're rooting for a lot of chalk the next 2 days then, yes? No, well, not really. I'm going with the long shot in the Florida Derby, as I mentioned, a longer shot than Univera. I'm sorry, I was inferring Thursday and Friday to get the Thursday, Friday. Oh, yeah, we want chalk. Chalk all the way. All day. Any other thoughts, Ron, for the weekend or today? No, that's it. It's going to be a fun day. Fast main track, firm turf. Of course, see if we can make this thing last till Sunday. All right, Ron. Say hello to Seth when you see him. I'm sure he'll be knocking on your door. Have a great Thursday afternoon. You got it. Ron Nicoletti, ladies and gentlemen, down at Gulfstream Park. And a quick note, time is of the essence in television. And the undercard for both the Louisiana Derby and the Florida Derby are just tremendous. The Honey Fox at a mile on the turf will be race number 10 at Gulfstream Park. Looks to be a wide open affair. Earlier in the card, the boys go the mile in the Appleton Stakes. What else do we have? The fillies and mares rooting 11 furlongs in the Orchid. At the fairgrounds, you have the Mine Shaft Stakes. And also, sprinkled in between these, particularly at Gulfstream Park on Saturday, allowance and maiden special weight races that will certainly whet your appetite. I think, though, at the end of the day, I think Gunnavera on multiple fronts. First off, the price. Secondly, he draws a rough post position. Yes, he has Javier Castellano and a closing running style. But to me, the biggest question you have to ask yourself, is he in a wanting in a position to run lights out on his way to the Florida Derby, Kentucky Derby, because I got to tell you, I know I loved Irish War Cry in the Holy Bull, and he scored a victory, but I thought Gunnevera ran terrifically to start the 3-year-old campaign, and then he topped that in the Fountain of Youth, and, you know, it's not too often in the modern era that young 3-year-olds put in 4 terrific performances in a row, but, you know, the network will have all the coverage. Terrific day, and as I said, a week from Saturday, you'll have, well, a week from tomorrow will be opening day at Keeneland. Day 2 will be Bluegrass Day. Big day out at Santa Anita. Also, one final thought on a different subject before we go to break. Folks, I got to tell you, watch over and over again these dirt races from Dubai. I got to tell you something. In the wake of Arrogate's historical performance, I got to tell you, Gun Runner was fantastic to be up on the pace. I've watched that now. You look at the dirt races at Meydan, and I'll tell you who were out, and they're up. And Joe Christopher told me about, you know, when there is rain on that dirt course, which they had at Meydan, that closers are helped an awful lot. And boy, more and more I watch that. I know he ran second, and in America we don't often talk about second place, but I'll tell you, Gun Runner ran great behind the historical performance of Arrogate. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be headed to where Gun Runner prepped for the Dubai World Cup, Oaklawn Park, and Jeff Taylor.
Like to play Aqueduct or Belmont Park, but you live upstate? With Capital OTB, your favorite tracks are closer than you think. With more than 60 easy bed and branch locations throughout the region, you're just a short drive from all the top tracks across the country and around the world. For a complete list of all easy bed and branch locations, visit capitalotb.com.
It's official. OTB TV is heading south to Gulfstream Park for this year's Florida Derby. We'll be broadcasting live from the paddock Friday, March 31st and Saturday, April 1st. Brian Addo and I will be handicapping the day's races, and later on we'll have interviews with the top trainers and jockeys. I'll also be welcoming some very special guests to the set. That's Friday, March 31st and Saturday, April 1st, right here on OTB TV.
In a recent study of some of the top online wagering sites, Capital OTB won big in total player rewards, far surpassing some of the best-known wagering sites in America. While other rewards programs simply offer you points redeemable for gift cards, Capital OTB's rebates are paid to you in actual cash. Plus, Capital OTB gives you full and immediate access to your money. So if all you're getting now are points and gift cards, join Capital OTB Player Rewards today and get cash back. Visit CapitalOTBBet.com and sign up today.
Hey race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, and amazing Vegas-style atmosphere. The Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
The road to the Kentucky Derby ends with the most exciting 2 minutes in racing, but getting there begins long before then. With 34 prep races that span 15 tracks, the best place to watch, wager, and win is Capital OTB and OTB TV. It's the Florida Derby from Gulfstream Park and the Louisiana Derby from the Fairgrounds, the Wood Memorial, and the Arkansas Derby from Oaklawn Park. For in-depth coverage and expert analysis of all the Derby prep races, stay with Capital OTB and OTB TV.
Be sure to join NYRA handicapper and racing analyst Andy Serling at the Clubhouse Racebook in Albany. Andy will be handicapping live the day's races and managing a $1,500 bankroll on behalf of 50 lucky patrons. To be part of Andy's bankroll team, sign up at the Clubhouse Racebook or online at CapitalOTB.com.
This is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
Back, ladies and gentlemen, to Racing Across America. Now time to turn our attention to Oaklawn Park. And Jeff Taylor, who was on with us a couple of days ago on Sunday morning, now he joins us on Thursday morning. And Jeff, I said to the audience just before the break, we were hinting about it. I know they got the $2 million check, and you got to see Gun Runner prep for the World Cup at Oaklawn Park. And I know they're not going to be talking about his effort down the road too much, but boy, Gun Runner put in a great effort, and I don't know if I share Florent Giroux's sentiments about he wants another shot at Arrogate.
Yeah, I would love to have been a little bug on Asmussen's shoulder about the 3/16.
Oh!
And to say, you know, he can get the dream trip. He's running, he's level, and he's just looking like the horse that won the racer back here, you know, last month when he looked almost unbeatable. And then here comes from out of the clouds one of the most remarkable performances I think we'll ever see from a racehorse in Arrogate. Well, I don't think there's any question.
And, Jeff, I love what you said. You know, he looked unbeatable after that prep race. He was, except it took a seminal moment in the sport, because I got to tell you something. We've watched races a long time. I'm a pace guy, and I just thought the amount of energy Arrogate had needed to use after the opening quarter mile to get position, and looking at Gun Runner's stride, I'm like, well, he's done great to get here, and he could maybe impact Gun Runner, but Gun Runner's had a perfect run, and then in the end, he loses to a dialed-down horse. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it is unbelievable, and I don't know what exactly the margin was back from Gun Runner to the to third, but it was remarkable. I mean, it was a gap that you would expect, an effort that would have won most World Cups.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jeff, I want you to relay to our audience the experience you had with the crowd and the audience last Saturday afternoon at Oak Lawn Park, please.
Well, it was surreal. I missed the elevator up to the press box and said, what the heck, I'll just watch it down here on the main line, which is the big open-air lobby at Oak Lawn's first floor, really the center of the whole plant. And, several thousand kind of packed in there watching the big screen. And you'd hear the original hoot and holler, where is he? And the gasp at the start, when Arrogate spotted him, 3-4 lengths, whatever it was, and didn't really get back into the race for a while. But as they got around the far turn and upper stretch, it just kept getting quieter and quieter and quieter. And then you could almost hear a pin drop when they crossed, betting interest aside, and people were just turning to perfect strangers to say, did we just see what we just saw? I mean, it was truly one of the it defies description. And basically that's what was the hush in the main line. It was just, you couldn't really believe what you just saw.
I know, Jeff, for us everyday horse racing fans, we kind of hear the rumblings that it's maybe the Pacific Classic and the Breeders' Cup Classic might be all the bullets that's left in the holsters, and we'd like more naturally. But I have to tell you, I'm very intrigued from a worldwide media general sports fan. If the Pacific Classic is the next stop, A, what the crowd would be like, and B, what the media attention would be for a non-Triple Crown, non-Breeders' Cup race if it ends up being Arrogate's return to racing.
Yeah, it'd have to be huge, and of course, I believe Del Mar is hosting the Breeders' Cup, so it'd be a perfect prelude, a race A, race B type scenario, and obviously his competition, Anthony, would come into play as far as the hype goes. But, we both know what kind of interest and buzz the great Frankel caused overseas in Europe.
Yes.
And some of that filtered over to this country without a doubt because he was widely regarded as the greatest horse on the planet. And after that performance last Saturday, Arrogate got to at least wear that label for a while until something else, disproves it. So, I agree. Especially leading up to the Breeders' Cup, the Pacific Classic would be a magical moment, if you would, in our summer calendar.
Did you think, after such a long gap between Triple Crown winners, that American Pharoah would be pushed to the back burner in discussions in this great sport?
Yeah, and both horses trained by Baffert. Obviously, that's the common thread. But you're right. It was just the horse has really done the most of the talking. Baffert's been, while quietly confident, he didn't quite wear the hat, the media hat, the PR hat that he did with Pharoah, because Pharoah was basically America's horse, and he campaigned the horse from coast to coast and really was a great ambassador for the game. Arrogate's accomplishments has simply come out on the racetrack without a whole lot of public fanfare. Of course, that's all aside now with what he's done. But, the Pegasus was certainly maybe a prelude to what he would be in his handicap year, the 4-year-old year for him, and he just stamped that with an exclamation mark over in the desert. So, it's good to see, for a change, the focus of attention back on the horse and the horse's accomplishments itself. And that's nothing against Pharoah. He ended up beating, in retrospect, a pretty soft group of 3-year-olds, I thought, in his crop. But Arrogate goes head and shoulders above him, I think, from an ability standpoint. Again, that's kind of refreshing to see.
It absolutely is. And speaking of refreshing, we have 3 races we're going to take a look at Oak Lawn Park. First up, We still having continual beautiful weather down there?
Yeah, we had some storms come through last night, as much as the lower south did, but not as severe as expected. I think the grand total rain gauge this morning read about 3/4 of an inch here at the racetrack. Workouts are good. There's plenty of activity out there this morning. It's opened up. We have some wind, some sun, so it would not surprise me we get to fast at some point this afternoon after probably opening as good.
All right, and for us in the East Coast, that'll be 2:30 post number 1. Let's take a look at the second race. 6 furlongs. It's Arkansas bred. Maiden Claimers in for 15.
Yeah, kind of an interesting prelude to this weekend. This is the calm before the storm, Anthony, before a big racing festival gets headed up in the last couple of weeks. Arkansas breds have spotlight not only in the daily cards, but we have a stake tomorrow and also for Saturday for those bred in the natural state. The second race, wide open, and I'm going to a trip horse in here with certainly some meat on the bone at 12-1. Number 9, Analyze Surf Dog. As good a play as any, I think, in a wide-open affair. This horse, as I mentioned, did get in quite a bit of trouble last time out, was compromised with a poor start and some traffic, and then was forced to steady at a very critical juncture, I felt like, into the far turn. Kind of took the run out of him. Only 3 starts previously for Hanalei, and I think with a clean trip today, at least makes it interesting for trainer Doug Anderson at a price.
All right, moving on to race number 5. Also at 6 furlongs, Restricted Claimers.
Yeah, I like here another horse with some price. Number 8, Learning Curve at 10-1. I like the move back to 1 turn here for Learning Curve. He's kind of a 1-run sprinter, and that doesn't translate very well up to 2 turns, as was evidence in his last race when he kind of reported home a very even third. I like to turn back in distance. There is plenty of pace in here to set the race up for him. Racetrack drying out a little bit today. I think maybe leaning toward those that do their best running late, probably going to take the edge off some speed. And I think Learning Curve, with a return to a sprint distance, does pick up a goodly amount of the pieces at 10-1 under Marlon St. Julian.
All right, on to the 6th race, a Route, a mile to 16th, Allowance, Jersey, Arkansas breds.
Yeah, again, staying with that Arkansas bred theme, Anthony, I'm kind of another trip horse in here, number 2, Dutch Parrot. And I will say this, Dutch Parrot also entered in the 6 furlong stakes race for Arkansas bred 3-year-old fillies on Saturday. As of this morning, the scratch board had her going today and maybe not going on Saturday, but I'm going to pick her in either spot because I think she is just that good of a filly for trainer Bill Van Meter here. She is a nice one, bred to go long. She's got 2 turns to work with today. This is predominantly a sprint bred field, as you would expect from Arkansas bred. Dutch Parrot, very commendable performance against Open Company last time out today's distance. She reported home a good solid second with some early trouble. She kind of got knocked around in the first turn. She stays clean today, and with her affinity at a mile on the 16th, I think the Dutch Parrot gets the job done. It's a pretty short price, but she looks legitimate.
All right, Jeff, I know we'll be getting back in touch with you because in a couple, well, about 2 weeks or such, you'll have the Racing Festival of the South, annually one of the most enjoyable weeks anywhere in racing. Jeff Taylor, ladies and gentlemen, Oak Lawn Park. Jeff, thank you very much.
Thank you, Anthony.
My pleasure. Jeff Taylor, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, this weekend, it's the Florida Derby, Louisiana Derby. Next weekend, it'll be the Wood Memorial and the Santa Anita Derby. And then on April 15th, they'll wrap up their season at Oak Lawn Park. They will also conclude the Racing Festival of the South. And I think Arkansas Derby Day is typically about a top 5 in on-track attendance behind the Derby, the Oaks, the Preakness, and if the Triple Crown is on the line, the Belmont. I think they're the first 4. I think if the Triple Crown isn't on the line, I think sometimes Arkansas Derby might finish 4th annually. And as I said earlier, it'd be very, very interesting at Del Mar for the Pacific Classic. The number of media credentials. See if they go after the cigar attendance of 21 summers ago, the opening day where they have 40-some-odd thousand. I got to tell you, folks, as a person who's now been trackside during live racing at Del Mar, it's small. It's very small. It's great. It's fantastic. Weather's terrific, but it's small. They're limiting the seats, the ticket sales, I should say, once again, for the Breeders' Cup. Very understandable once you get there. But, boy, Arrogate, yeah, boy, he's, it's just great that something outside of the Triple Crown attracts that much attention. A quick note, tomorrow starts opening day on the main track at the Big A. Hopefully we'll get some turf racing in. Obviously, it'll be a very limited sample because before the end of April, they'll be at Belmont Park. So the main track at the Big A, particularly the spring. A very, very short meet, but it commences tomorrow. Already downloaded the 9-race card, basically a 1:20 first post, wrapping up about 5:50 in the afternoon. And for many of us, that is, spring has sprung for racing fans who concentrate on NYRA. It's the main track at the Big A, and that is tomorrow. I also have to get an opinion in the turf race number 9 at the fairgrounds, the old explosive bid, because I got to tell you, folks, I am going to be invested in Vex Station for Neil Drysdale in the Fairground Oaks and Guest Suite in the Louisiana Derby. I'm not a big fan of Gervin. He's a tail of the cat offspring, tail of a cotty through tail of a cat. Yes, Malibu Moon on the bottom side, but he's on the outside. I'm going to be looking to bet against him, and Guest Suite is my pick now. The one thing about Guest Suite, he's 50-1 in the Kentucky Derby future wager pools, which also is this weekend. So my conundrum is that little space in between. If he runs great, we get a win ticket in the Louisiana Derby. We get killed in the Kentucky Derby future. If somehow he runs forward for Neil Howard, doesn't hurt his Kentucky future wager pool, but a fantastic weekend. Gunnavera draws the outside. I know he is Castellano, but he draws the outside of the Florida Derby on a great 2 outstanding cards tomorrow, including the first Saturday of the main track. And don't worry, folks, the fairgrounds, 4 races after the Louisiana Derby, should wrap up approximately 8:15 in the East. So we have some business to take care of. Let's see, who's up first? Is it the Gulfstream Park or the Bet 50? Oh, the cash back. No Bet 50, get 50? I thought that's through March 31st. There we go. Free money, folks. Nothing like it, especially this weekend on tap. You open up a new Capital Bets account. You bet $50. You get $50 free dollars to bet with it as you please. You also can download the OTB mobile app, the Capital OTB mobile app. Another example of how Capital Off-Track Betting make it easier and easier to enjoy this outstanding game. Download our mobile app now. Wednesday and Thursdays, 2% cash back bonus, ladies and gentlemen. No points, real money. Go to CapitalOTB.com for more information. The Bounty Bet. Love this idea. Started by our very own Michael Sullivan in the marketing department. This is up to $1,762.70. That'll be the late pick 4 on Friday. Lose early, win late. Save your losing tickets for a NYRA pick 4 promotion. That is Saturday afternoon. And on Wednesday, Brian Netto, who's down in South Florida, and will join Seth Merrill tomorrow and Saturday morning live, but pick 4 online contest. Sign up at CapitalOTB.com. That is for Wednesday. And a week from tomorrow, a $100 win-a-bet handicapping contest. That is right here at the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue. And a week from Saturday on Bluegrass and Santa Anita Derby days, April 8th in Herkimer, New York at Pete's Easy Bet, Fan Appreciation Day. Terrific day to have Fan Appreciation Day. Day 2 at the Keeneland Meet and Santa Anita Derby Day, 1:30 in the afternoon. And a week from Sunday, Anders Sterling will be upstate with a $1,500 bankroll. Go to CapitalOTB.com to learn how to sign up and get on Andy Sterling's $1,500 team. And we want to thank the great people down at Gulfstream Park. Champions start here. Remember, the Rainbow Pick 6 is up to $1.445 million going into today's racing. And as Ron and I were teasing, many people are probably rooting for chalk, chalk, chalk on Thursday and Friday, at least to get to the Florida Derby card. And remember, if it's still standing after the Florida Derby card, Sunday will be the mandatory payout I would be intrigued just to see what the pool would be worth. I think somewhere between $7 to $10 million is not unreasonable on the mandatory payout, but that's putting the horse before the cart. We still have to get through Thursday, Friday, and the Florida Derby card. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up today's edition of Racing Across America. Tomorrow morning, live from South Florida, Seth Merrill with the Racing Across America. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your outstanding day of racing.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.